Hello and welcome to this video, which is dedicated to thoughts. Okay, so thoughts, super important. Okay, so we've already looked at our energy body, and we know that our fourth dimensional energy body is made up of our emotional and mental energy. We know that emotions and thoughts and beliefs are our mental processes, right? So we know that our emotions and thoughts and beliefs are energy. They're vibrating at a certain frequency, but we can't see them, okay? So the question is now, where do our thoughts come from? So earlier on, I talked about the fourth dimension. I see it as, I'm simplifying, of course, I see it as the lower part of the fourth dimension is very much controlled by our programming. So we might have thoughts and beliefs that have been programmed into us, parents, schools, society, and that's very much where those thoughts come from. But where do the higher part of our fourth dimension, where do those thoughts come from? What about our divine ideas, our divine inspiration? Where does that come from? You know, our aha moments that we have, they're all thoughts. And what about our beliefs and our ability to actually choose our beliefs? That's something very important at the moment to understand. So thoughts have to come from somewhere because they're energy. So I believe that the thoughts come from your higher self, of course, your highest self, the creator, the source of all, the all that is, the infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. You know, God, creator, source, you know, it's up to you. But thoughts, divine inspiration, your inspiration that's expanding you, the kind of inspiration that makes you excited to do things, that's your divine inspiration, and that's what we need to be following right now. Seriously, we need to be following that. Instead of pushing it aside with a load of limiting beliefs that I'm not good enough, I can't do it, nobody would want me to do that, what will other people think of me, I can't afford it. I mean, I work in that line of work, right, with helping people release limiting beliefs. And it's amazing how much our beliefs hold us down. And it never ceases to amaze me because, well, I kind of understand it, but the level of our limiting beliefs is because we do not realize how powerful we are. Okay, we realize that we are God. Okay, I know people don't like to hear that. They think that it's blasphemy, but there is a source energy that we are. It depends what words you use. I don't usually use the word God, but it depends how you view it. But there's a source energy that we are. We are that source energy. And therefore, all the creative power that source energy has, that made the mountains and the flowers and the trees and everything else, made us. And that power is invested in us. And that's the bit we don't believe. So a lot of people are waking up to the fact that we are all one and we are all divine and we all have this unity with source. But what we're not realizing is just how bloody powerful we are. So that's where the limiting beliefs keep on coming, okay? Because even when we step into our power and we rise up that chart of consciousness, which I'm going to share again in a minute, and even when we rise up there, we still don't believe that we're as powerful as we are. So this is one of the things that we need to work on in the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is all about understanding that we have the power of source energy, okay? Or we have God's power invested in us. It doesn't sound right, does it? But on an energy perspective, that's how it is. So your thoughts, we need to always beef ourselves up. We've been programmed to put ourselves down. We dumb ourselves down. I mean, we've had other people dumbing us down and we dumb ourselves down. You know, it's time we kind of changed all of that. And I'm not suggesting we all become egotistical. That's not the opposite. It's just confidence in your divinity and expressing that divinity within your humanity and accepting your divine skills and your divine gifts. Okay, it's about believing in your divine skills and your divine gifts. When I do the soul profile readings, you know, these characteristics that come up, and people don't view them as gifts, but they do identify that they like to do that. But it's not about, here is a job, here is a gift, and you have to go and do that gift. It doesn't work like that. It's a characteristic within you that you need to experience and express in your life. The abundance comes later. You know, I think I might have gone a little bit off tangent here. So let's bring it back to thoughts. Very raw, very organic, in my videos. Okay, so the importance of thoughts. What I want to do is I want to share the chart of consciousness with you again, which we have seen before. There we go. So looking at this chart of consciousness. Now, this is the emotions, and we looked at this when we were looking at the importance of emotions. But I want to let you know that everything is energy and everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. We've seen that with emotions, and I want to show you the same thing with thoughts and beliefs, okay? Your mental processes. This is how you're going to identify, this is identifying what we need to do in order to transcend the fourth dimension. We need to transcend our thoughts and beliefs. In other words, we need to ensure that our thoughts and beliefs are as high frequency as possible, okay? So if you look at the bottom of this chart, you'll see like shame, guilt, apathy. Okay, now somebody that is vibrating at that level, you probably don't know many people because you will not be resonating with them. If you're watching this video, you're already resonating at a higher frequency. But if you are, the people that are resonating at that frequency, they will believe that life happens to them, that they are a victim of their circumstances. They will have beliefs like dog eat dog, survival of the fittest, you know, or even like attack is the best form of defense. That kind of mantra is going on within them. And they really feel, and that's why it's suffering, you see, in a very contracted state. So those thoughts accompany that, that level of consciousness. And then if you bring it up to, we were talking before about anger, but desire and anger. So these people are wanting the change, and they're realizing that they can create change through their actions, or they can at least create a response. A lot of people at this level, especially at the pride and courage level, are very ambitious and goal-orientated. And so they tend to believe that life happens by you. Not that life happens to you, but life happens by you because they see it that they are creating their life, which they are, of course, but they see it from a very individual perspective, not a unity perspective, not from a higher source, but because of their actions, their human actions in the human world is creating perhaps, maybe they're achieving their goals. And so they see that they are actually, they think life happens by them. Now, if you come up to above the neutrality, which is when we come into the expanded state of being, this is when people start believing that life happens for them. So they have beliefs that the synchronicities are relevant. They have beliefs that, that there is a silver lining to any perceived, you know, negative events. There were blessings in disguise. Everything is a lesson. You know, they have beliefs like that, which is higher vibrating than from this higher vibrating than the suffering level of consciousness, of course. So they see life happening for them, for their benefit. Even the perceived negative events are for their benefit. And that's the willingness to see the world through that lens and the acceptance. But as you come further up the chart and you get to that, like what I would call fifth dimensional flow at love, that's when you realize that, you know, you don't force anything. You just raise your vibration and do what you love and allow your divine energy to flow through you, and you will have thoughts and beliefs that life happens through you. It's not actually, life actually isn't coming from you. life is coming through you from a higher source, your higher source, your highest self. Your highest self is source, and it's flowing from that consciousness, from that non-physical consciousness. It's flowing through you, through your human vessel, and it's creating life through you. Okay, so these are examples of different beliefs that resonate at different frequencies, depending on the frequency that you're at. And finally, if you're at the very top of this chart, peace and enlightenment, then you realize that you are life. You are life itself. But so what I want to say about thoughts and beliefs, because there's a lot of, and opinions, of course, an opinion is a thought or a belief. If somebody is vibrating, let's say at fear, there's a lot of people vibrating at fear, and this is quite relevant because we're seeing it around us. And it's making a lot of people feel uncomfortable, and they want to kind of help people that are feeling fearful. Now, if you're vibrating higher than that, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, the thing is, though, you will have thoughts and beliefs and energy vibrating at a higher frequency, which will not resonate with them. So if they have a fearful thought that I am a victim of my circumstances, and I can only be saved by somebody on the outside of me, which is a common thought, right? That my salvation lies in something outside of me, that you are not going to be able to change their opinion. You are not going to be able to change their thought by telling them your thought, by telling them your belief, because your belief is resonating at your level of consciousness, and their belief is resonating at their level of consciousness, and like attracts like. So how do we help people that are living in fear, and we want to help them move up this chart so that they can enjoy the love and joy and peace and harmony of unity consciousness? The answer is help them raise their vibration. So obviously, that's why my first book, Heal Yourself to Happiness, is free to download from my website at deborahjanesutton.com. I'll put a link in below for that, because it's all about raising vibrations. It's a simple guide to raising your vibrations in all manner of ways, because obviously there are so many different ways that we can raise vibrations. Obviously, you know, you've got food and exercise, you know, crystals, holistic therapies. But the most important one, if you want to help somebody shift into higher consciousness beliefs, the healing that they need is love. Love. Because love, anybody resonating anywhere on this scale is going to be able to access love to some degree. Okay? So by loving them, whether from a distance or in person, and one of the best ways of, you know, just generally when you're out and about, one of the best ways I've found is just letting people know you appreciate them and that you're grateful. You know, it's just seeing a face light up just because you've said thank you, and just because you've told somebody that they've done a really good job. You know, it's amazing how that can lift somebody. So just share. I'm not suggesting you go around and lie to anybody. I'm just saying go around and see the divinity within people. Go and look for the divinity within people, and then let them know that you've seen that divinity within them. You might not use those words because people at different levels of consciousness might not resonate with those words, but just letting people know that you've acknowledged them, you're grateful for them, you think that they've just done an amazing job, even if it's just out and about in shops and stuff, and you can just see their energy boosted. And of course, if it's somebody closer to you, you know, just loving them, listening to them, understanding them, letting them know that you are a safe place, because that is going to raise their vibration. And they're only going to shift their belief by raising their vibration, because raising their vibration is going to raise their frequency up this chart. And when they go into higher levels of consciousness, they will then align with higher levels of thought, higher frequency thoughts and beliefs. Okay, so if you want to help people raise their thoughts, change their thoughts into healthier ones, then the answer is loving them. Just because a lot of, just telling them your truth, because you see, this is why there's so many different angles to truth, because, they're vibrating at a lower level, which means their experience is all going to be at that level of consciousness. So they are going to be surrounded by fearful people. They are going to be surrounded by fearful circumstances, because that's the energy that they're dominant in, and that's what they're creating. Because we don't attract what we want in life, we attract what we are. So you can't tell them that life isn't fearful, because they're living one that is, because that's what they're creating, if that makes sense. So, and if you're feeling, fearful and angry and, these negative emotions, and you think that's your overriding emotion, then the answer is definitely read my first book. But that's about raising your vibration in all areas of your life. We've looked at many ways to do that, especially in these Lessons in Awakening series. So hopefully that will help, because you can see that our beliefs and our thoughts, which are our mental processes in the fourth dimension, they are resonating at the level of consciousness that we are. So we do need to look at raising our vibration if we want to shift into more self-loving, life-affirming beliefs and thoughts. So this is why positive thinking is such an important thing to do. So I hope that helps with thoughts. Yes. So where do your thoughts come from? Interesting one, isn't it? Give it some thought. Make sure that you're in your higher part of your mental layer, and make sure that you're thinking from your divine source rather than your programming. Okay, so a very simplified version there of thoughts, but I hope it helps. And I will be working on a video on how to master your thoughts and emotions, so that you can transcend the fourth dimension into higher levels of consciousness. But for now, lots of love. Bye for now.